Lucius Johnson, Compton's own, taking on North Hollywood. Ferdinand Kerobyan. Johnson just walked into the ring right now. 6 rounds in the super welterweight division. Alongside the editor of RingTV.com, Doug Fisher, I am Bethel Durant. Thank you for joining us all over the world. Send us some tweets. I'm at Durant Sports. Doug is Dougie Fisher, Fischer, Dougie. And make sure you follow Doug on Instagram also so you can get that view of all the comic books he's been stealing lately, man. You've been robbing these comic books, not literally, but you've been buying some good ones. And I look at them, my Doug, I know you didn't pay full price for some of these.
No.
Those are good ones you got.
I go to the 50-cent bins, the 25-cent bins, the dollar bins.
But there's some good ones you're getting lately. And there he is, Armenia's own Ferdinand Kerobyan. He was born in Armenia, came to the United States when he was 6. Became a U.S. citizen 5 years ago. Kerobyan, nicknamed Lucky Boy.
He's brought some fans with him from the Glendale area.
Over 500 sold for this fight.
And he's only 20 years old, so there's a lot of room for him to grow and to grow that fan base.
Both fighters in the ring. Mark Kuski is our ring announcer.
Inglewood for today's action. Promoted by Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions. Presented by Tecate, the official beer of boxing. And sponsored by Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle. And Casa Mexico Tequila. It's in the taste. And now, this fight is scheduled for 6 rounds of super welterweight action. Judges scoring the fight, John McCarthy, Fernando Villarreal, and Rudy Berrigan. Referee in charge of the action at the sound of the bell is Jerry Cantu. Now, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 154 pounds. He enters the ring with a record of 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. 3 of those wins by way of knockout. From Compton, California, Lucius Johnson. And his opponent, with official weight of 153.2 pounds. He comes in with a perfect record of 7 wins, 0 losses. 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from North Hollywood, California, Ferdinand Kerobyan. Once again, referee Jeffrey Cantu with the final instructions.
You're ready to go. Kerobyan and Lucius Johnson. Jerry Cantu, the 3rd man in the ring. Some of the Golden Boy fighters. You see El Bandido Vargas walking by us right now. Joseph Diaz Jr. in attendance.
Mouthpiece.
Coming out early to check this one out. This was the one that people told us about. Kerobyan. Ryan Scalio, our man in Canada, said to keep an eye on Johnson, a live dog. Johnson in the white trunks. Kerobyan 7-0, 4 KOs. Johnson 4-1-1.
Right away, you can see the tall and rangy frame of Johnson, who has fought as heavy as super middleweight.
He has, really?
Yes, and this is a junior middleweight bout. Both men weighed under the 154 limit. Actually, Johnson came in at 154 pounds. Kerobyan came in at 153.2.
Kerobyan, a 20-year-old. Been a boxer his entire life, but he loved the sport early on. Started boxing around the age of 7. His dad actually took him to the gym because he was very active, so they wanted him to tire out. Well, it had a reverse effect on him. He loved it so much he wanted to go to the gym even more. Disciplined, as we said boxing made for him. ISU gym out of North Hollywood. Only gym he's ever been with, only trainers he's ever had. There he is out here with the red trunks.
He's the fighter putting the pressure on. He's the more aggressive fighter so far. And from Johnson, we're seeing a nice stick and move strategy and some switch hitting as well. Yep. Sometimes, like right now, he's from the southpaw stance.
Kerobyan stalking him, moving around. Good body work for Kerobyan. The shorter fighter in the ring. Johnson nicknamed the Bulldog out of Compton. Gets hit with a hook. Kerobyan attacking like the Bulldog. Has that pressure. I think I've seen 2 fights from Kerobyan. That's exactly what he does. He comes after you, like bites onto you and doesn't let go.
Yeah, I've only seen him live once before. It was in October. It was a Belasco fight, Belasco Theater fight, and it just went 1 round. Fought a guy named Uriel Gonzalez. Yep. Blasted him out. So I got a taste of Kerobyan.
Yeah. His last fight, I actually saw that at the Fantasy Springs in Indio. Had to go to the distance, worked it. But there was a fight with one side. It controlled it. Yeah, the fight that we saw at the Belasco, he just came out 1,000 miles an hour. But one thing he's learned is now I just need to calm down. 7 pro fights, figuring it out. And you're going to hear the crowd reaction. Over 500 tickets sold. Not that he knows of, I mean sold. It's also a nice thing for a promoter.
Yeah, and that's impressive, and this is an impressive opening round because most fighters of his level of experience would have trouble with the height, reach, and that pesky jab of Johnson. Not to mention the switch hitting, which Johnson does well.
Dad, you got to get down. I'm sorry, you're not licensed. You're good. Hold on. Back there. No, you're not. No. Okay. Shut up, starts from working low. Okay, see the hard basket, okay? It's assume verchi open, shut up, starts. Okay, keep your distance.
Opening round action. Kerobyan eats a jab, misses with the right cross, comes over with the hook, backs Johnson to the ropes, stays close, keeps the pressure on, eats a jab, but backs the tall, rangy fighter up to the ropes. I scored the opening round for Kerobyan. He just outworked Johnson and landed the power punches.
Second round of action. What is this? To everybody in Armenia watching us. Kerobyan said he had a lot of people tuning in to this fight. But what if this is, you say hello. Hopefully I'm saying it right. They're watching Ferdinand, Lucky Boy, Kerobyan. Lucky Boy, you know, all the names that have as a fighter, you said as a kid, he'd always win the card games at the family parties. Monopoly, doesn't matter what it was. And his uncles always called, you're just a lucky boy, you're a lucky boy. And the name is stuck with him.
That's good mojo. And he's making his luck in this fight.
Body work from Kerobyan.
Outworking a tall, rangy boxer. Not an easy thing. What Johnson needs to do is start to put a right hand behind that jab. He can land the jab from the orthodox position and the southpaw position. He's got to start putting some straight power shots. I don't care if it's a right or a straight left out of the left-handed stance, but he needs to earn some respect.
Doesn't look like a 20-year-old, does he, Kerobyan?
No. It's a nice beard he's got.
Smooth. Good defense, blocks that shot. Going right-handed now is Johnson. Being a little heavy now is the Bulldog.
Johnson, if you look at Johnson's face, he's beginning to feel this heat. He looks a little bit ruffled in there, but he is so far keeping his composure. I think lateral movement is good for Johnson. Kerobyan likes to apply pressure, but he hasn't learned to expertly cut that ring off yet. And there's a 1-2 combination from Johnson, although he got tagged by Kerobyan in return. But Johnson needs more of the 1-2s.
And Kerobyan's coming on here in the second. Looking solid as the 20-year-old Armenian out of North Hollywood.
And Kerobyan is forcing Johnson to fight.
And he's bringing the fight to him. Johnson in tough right now. He has the height advantage, reach advantage, none of that working for him, as it is all Ferdinand Kerobyan.
Now, but Kerobyan is forcing Johnson to let some power punches go. We saw a body shot from Johnson a moment ago. He's going to have to. There was another body shot, borderline. But Johnson is going to have to let his hands go a little more just to keep this this pit bull off him. I know pit bull is, or bulldog, I'm sorry. Bulldog is Johnson's nickname, but Kerobyan's nickname could easily be pit bull.
I got a backup.
His mouthpiece is knocked out. They're trying to find the backup. There it is.
Keep that mouthpiece in, my man, okay?
There's the right hand, which landed throughout the second round. And you saw Johnson lost the mouthpiece with that second right cross that landed. Kerobyan keeps working. There's a left hook, straight right landed.
Second down, mouthpiece in. Third round.
So referee Jerry Cantu was warning Johnson to keep that mouthpiece in, but you know, in Johnson's defense, it was knocked out of it. It was dislodged by a punch. He didn't spit it out.
Third round, and this fight is being contested at.
This is junior middleweight or super welterweight.
At 153, Kerobyan said his future's at 47. That's where he'd rather fight.
He looks like he can make 147.
Yeah. He said for this one, to stay active, he's agreed to fight Johnson at 54, is what Kerobyan was saying. Because for the longest time, it was Kerobyan versus TBA. You know, that old dangerous TBA. And he said to take the fight, he agreed to fight him at 54. He said there's no problem, but 47 is definitely where his future is at.
I think that's a good idea, and I'm wondering if Johnson might be better suited at 160, given that frame of his. Regardless of their weights, I'm very much impressed with Kerobyan. He soundly won the opening 2 rounds on my very unofficial scorecard, and he's doing it against a very difficult and capable boxer. Johnson's got a good foundation. He's got good balance, good foot placement.
Body work again.
Johnson does everything right. He's just not doing enough of it to earn Kerobyan's respect or to win rounds. It was a nice straight right to the body landed by Kerobyan.
Going back to orthodox is Johnson. Kerobyan, doesn't matter what you are, Kerobyan's coming at you.
That's a good point. Kerobyan is equally effective against Johnson no matter what stance. That was a nice right hand from Johnson. And that was a nice right hand to the body from Johnson.
Now Kerobyan with a southpaw. It's hit on the body. Hit again on the body. Oh, the hook. Kerobyan goes southpaw and he's loading up. Now go back to orthodox.
Johnson's doing some good work in this round, particularly with those body shots, but all the eye-catching punches are these power shots to the head that Kerobyan lands, regardless of his stance.
Look, that one missed. Johnson breathing heavy with 38 seconds to go in the round.
Kerobyan's pace is so fast and his work rate is so high. He keeps most of his opponents on the defensive or on the move. And I get the feeling he's not going to really be tested until he meets somebody who's strong enough and powerful enough to earn his respect and stand the ground in the center ring. Because some guys can only fight when they're coming forward and forcing the opponent backwards. And then when they meet that immovable object, they're not the same guy.
He ate a right hand and kept on coming to Kerobyan. Follow with the right of his own. Final seconds of the round. Solid round for Ferdinand Kerobyan against Lucius Johnson.
Entertaining round.
Nice round. Sorry. Hey, get it down away. I'm sorry, guys. Toe down.
Keep that there. Stay there. Lean back there. Good.
See, Joseph Diaz Jr., JoJo, the 2012 Olympian. You'll be seeing him February 22nd on ESPN. Indio, California. And sitting next to Golden Boy matchmaker Roberto Diaz. JoJo's actually See some highlights from last round.
Yeah, action from a competitive third round. A round won by Kerobyan. Kerobyan kept landing those power shots. It was a nice southpaw jab landed by Kerobyan. Turned it into a right hook. So both these guys can switch hit.
Alex T, 54, watching us in Sacramento. Appreciate the support as always. Next time, make sure you tag Doug Fisher on the tweet, man. Come on, man. We both need it. Wearing a Sacramento King jersey in his avatar. Cynthia Moraga, not from Moraga, California, in Southern California, watching it at home. They're cleaning the house, watching some boxing. If you guys want your shout out, go ahead, tweet us. See it, we'll talk about it. I know Kerobyan has a lot of fans in Armenia watching. Our numbers are spiking in Armenia, especially the performance that Kerobyan's putting on.
There's a lot to like from this 20-year-old. Mixes punches up to the body and head very well. I'd like to see more of that.
Kerobyan, you mentioned his conditioning. Actually, he played basketball in high school at Grant High School in Southern California, in the Valley. Like, why? It was fun just to run around. Like, are you any good? He's like, I played. The boxing was first. Right hand. Stiff jab. Body work. Going upstairs nicely. And Doug, I know you like the fact that he mixes it up.
Yeah, he mixes it up, but he's, you know, we saw that from Daquan Paldo in the previous bout. Kerobyan's a little bit better at doing it because he can do it from different distances. Did that mouthpiece just fly out of his mouth? Something flew out of his mouth. Yeah, it was the mouthpiece.
Yes, it was the mouthpiece, and it landed right at the feet of my son.
Yeah, that was flying, yeah. It went under your son's chair.
Yeah.
He's sitting ringside.
There's another mouthpiece in there. They grabbed it. I didn't know if it was Vaseline that went flying.
Yeah,
because it was clear.
It was so fast. Yeah.
Wow.
Goodness gracious.
That hook from Kerobyan.
Yeah, but I was saying Kerobyan can mix those shots up from the outside, from middle distance, and in close.
Solid right hand from Kerobyan. Johnson trying to move around that ring, gets away from him.
Johnson's having to deal with a lot of adversity, all coming from Lucky Boy, and he is dealing with it. Oh my goodness! I'll tell you what, Johnson's got he's got a good chin.
Yep. Good combination from Kerobyan. Johnson breathing heavy again. It is the Bulldog against the Pit Bull who won't let go.
See some feints from Kerobyan. And we should point out Kerobyan's got some very good footwork. He does a lot with his feet. He's good at getting different angles on his shots, moving from side to side.
For a 20-year-old, he's impressive. And the mouthpiece goes down again.
Wow.
Oh, a right hand from Kerobyan. Has him on the ropes. Body work, Kerobyan. And Johnson covering up. Twice in this round, the mouthpiece has been knocked out.
This guy, Kerobyan, is a natural fighter. He's got every instinct you want to see from a boxer, including a finisher's instinct.
And Johnson is a solid fighter, 4-1-1.
Yeah.
He is known around the Southern California boxing scene.
Oh, yeah, and that one loss was against a guy who was far more experienced than him, and it was a close fight.
I mean, Jerry can't see telling him, but Jerry, he's not speeding up. The mouthpiece is flying across the ring.
It's getting punched out of his head. You can't get mad at him.
You got a replay of that mouthpiece getting flying?
And it's not like the mouthpiece being dislodged is putting a halt to the action, because Kerobyan keeps punching. Boom, there it goes.
Oh my god.
That was a left hook. Let's get another this might be the second time the mouthpiece was dislodged. This one was yellow. Boom! Yeah, another left. Goodness gracious. And he doesn't stop. See, now he lands a right cross, backs him to the rope.
Double combination, okay?
Don't finish him.
I tell you what, this Kerobyan guy's got a bright future because he can fight. Just a lot of things right in there.
I know one thing is about selling tickets, but forget that. This guy can fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that sell tickets.
Right. Not all of them can fight.
And Kerobyan here in his 5th round, he heard his corner telling him, finish it. They're watching us in Miami again. Melissa checking in. Impressed by Kerobyan knocking out the mouthpiece. That was a good tweet.
And he's not just doing it because of punching power. He's doing it because he's quick and sneaky with these shots. And he's able to hit Johnson from different angles, unexpected angles.
And for those of you tweeting, yes, that mouthpiece went at the feet of my son, Ricky City. And Kerobyan is telling him, bringing it, and Johnson keep it up, but they're right on the belt.
It was on the belt, yeah.
That's just a desperate fighter who's been getting tagged all night.
Yeah. You're seeing the head movement from I tell you what, Kerobyan is learning a lot in this fight. I think the tougher opposition they put him in with, the better.
And he seems like a fighter you can move fast.
Absolutely.
The Armenian crowd making a lot of noise. That body shot got him.
He's breaking Johnson down. I can't believe this.
Johnson, that's a lot of heart from Johnson. That is tough as nails out of Compton.
Yeah, Johnson is durable. He's versatile. He's got good technique. I think he's got some heart. But Kerobyan is just a pure fighter in there. He's such, I mean, he reacts perfectly to everything. He slips punches when he gets hit with a good punch. It doesn't bother him at all. He comes right back with his own shots. He'll come back with 3 or 4 of them.
Johnson has a heck of a chin, though. He's taking some big shots. Which makes you wonder if Kerobyan was at 147, how many guys would take that? You do see the signs of a fighter who's only had 7 pro fights in Kerobyan, but the experience he's gaining tonight is going to be valuable. Solid right again, and Johnson right there. Body, upstairs, hook. Solid 1-2 from Kerobyan. The combinations Kerobyan is putting together tonight, though, that's what I like, and he's only 20.
Yeah. I mean, technically,
he's out again.
Fourth time this fight. The technique is good with those combinations, but also the variety, the creativity of those combinations is impressive.
Is Jerry taking away a point? He's taking away a point.
I mean, okay, fine. But
let's go. I get it. You got to do it because you warned them over and over.
It's happening a lot, but
they're getting punched out.
Yeah. And basically all this point deduction did was give Johnson and Kerobyan a little bit of a break. Not that Kerobyan's asking for it. Gosh, his work rate is ridiculous.
Final seconds of the round. Okay, 10 seconds to go in the round. Kerobyan looks fresh, though.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, I can see the fatigue. And he's breathing a little bit heavy, but his pace has been crazy.
Yeah. Gotta do it for 5.
Sit down, Luke. Stay back, lean down.
Stretch your legs out, Luke. Stretch your legs out.
No, you gotta get back. You just gotta pick it up.
No, pick it up.
Get this way. Հավաքված։ Մի կռի վրա, մի մտի հարվածի տակ։ Չմտնես, էդի չեմ ուզում։ Որ մտնես հարվածի տակ, չանես։
Okay, make sure your left hand
Ձախ
is
շատ
double.
կամաց ախում, էդ շատ կանցի խփի։
He's slowed down. Okay, you have to finish.
The way you scrap with it right there, that's the way you're gonna fight this last round.
Tough 5th round for Lucius Johnson. Trying to keep Kerobyan at bay with the jab. It's not working. Kerobyan attacks the body. Belt line shots. Johnson complains about it. Probably trying to get a little bit of a break. There was a low shot from Johnson. And then as he was letting a right hand go, he's for the 4th time in this fight. Which is why referee Jerry Cantu docked him that point.
So he'll go to 47 for his next fight, Ferdinand Kerobyan. You know he wants to end this. 7-0, 4 KOs.
And Johnson is not just a capable boxer, he's a very proud fighter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks would have just quit on their stool under this type of punishment, but he's still in there and he's still trying.
Johnson's a tough out for anybody.
Yes, he is.
He didn't consider himself an underdog coming in here.
No, like I said, out there in the Twitterverse, there were more than a few people saying, geez, why did Kerobyan's team match him up at age 20 with somebody like Johnson, kind of the definition of a spoiler? And here's our answer, because they know what they have. They got a real prospect. Oh, that was a monster. He was hurt. He's hurt.
Yep.
Kerobyan's hurt.
And that's what Johnson has. Johnson has that. Kerobyan been stunned.
Kerobyan,
He's falling down.
Does that, it doesn't count.
Jerry just says, he slipped.
Yeah, he didn't go down on a punch.
No,
yeah,
he was backpedaling.
Yeah.
And Kerobyan's still stunned.
Now, we've been talking about his fighter instincts. Let's see if he knows how to survive. High drama here in the 6th and final round of this excellent junior middleweight contest. Maybe it's payback time for Johnson.
Johnson behind heavy on the cards. He needs a KO.
Yes, and he's going to try to put some punishment on this young man who's backpedaling away. I think maybe he'd be better suited to hold and grab onto Johnson, who needs to fight with a sense of urgency. He should not be taking his time.
That's what you want him to do?
Yeah. I have to imagine, though, that Kerobyan's never had to grab and hold in his career.
He's never been hit like that either, though.
No.
I asked him that yesterday. He's like, no, I've never been stunned.
Yeah, he's definitely stunned now.
Again with that right.
Yeah, he ran into that right hand. 30 seconds.
Again, Johnson throwing the kitchen sink is what he has to do. They're urging him on in his corner. Kerobyan looks like he's got his legs back.
Yeah, he's getting his legs back. He's surviving a tough round.
Oh, he gets a huge left from Johnson.
Right on the nose.
And Kerobyan bouncing around.
And now we're seeing Kerobyan with the lateral movement, and that's exactly what he needs.
Final seconds of the fight. What a fight. Good fight, good action. Two young fighters putting on a good show in Inglewood.
And Johnson won himself around,
yes,
finally.
He did. Johnson puts up his hands, was very game, behind big on the scorecards. A lot of credit to Compton's Lucius Johnson.
Boom. Right hand, yes. He got hurt with that right hand. You see a delayed effect. It's almost like he didn't know he was hurt by the hand, and he, probably feels numbness below the waist, like, oh, wow, I'm hurt. Johnson swinging a little bit wild.
Yep.
So this was not counted as a knockdown. Johnson offering some prayers there. And Johnson acquitted himself well. Even though I scored the first 5 rounds for Kerobyan, what Johnson was showing us tonight, that gives most young prospects nothing but fits. And then obviously, round 6, and Johnson tells him, beautiful fight. And Kerobyan's kind of like, okay, whatever. And that was a very dramatic 6th round, though. I'd like to see Lucius Johnson again.
Yeah.
Kerobyan definitely. He was showing me everything. And he even showed us something being hurt.
Yes.
He knows how to survive.
Well, that's the thing that we talk about when we broadcast these shows on Ring TV about young prospects. A first-round KO does nothing for you. It's the adversity you go through. And Kerobyan controlling the fight, but that 6th round, learning how to survive when you're stung.
James, right here.
Well, that's something definitely Johnson can do. He showed it for 5 rounds. Kerobyan showed us for 3 minutes of the final round. I have to imagine he's a little bit disappointed at himself because he got caught. He was doing so well. Hoping to get the knockout himself in the 6th and final round, and he's the one who almost gets stopped.
Jim Boone tickets, what a round. And he thought the corner of Johnson should have stopped it up to the 5th. KO tickets knows what's up. So does Mark Krisky, the ring announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of super welterweight action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges score the fight 59-54. And your winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated, Ferdinand.
Ferdinand Kerobyan. He's now 8-0, gets 59-54 across the cards. And as he told me to say to his Armenian fans, Haktanak.
That was well done.
Victory
Yes.
for the Armenian Ferdinand Kerobyan, an impressive 20-year-old out of North Hollywood, California.
Hard-earned victory because of those final 3 minutes.
Let's look at the recap of that fight, which was a good scrap.
Quality matchup here on the undercard.
Once again, referee Jeffrey Cantu with the final.
You see the nice jab and right hand from Johnson. You see the hard pressure from Kerobyan. A two-fisted attack from Kerobyan, following Johnson around the ring. Not giving the taller, rangier fighter room to operate. Outworking him on the inside. Generally, Kerobyan got the better of all of the exchanges. And in the middle rounds, he started working the body and the head and switching stances as Johnson had early in the bout. Beautiful right hook. Sorry, that was a left hook. The mouthpiece of Lucius Johnson was dislodged 4 times in this fight. And Johnson was docked a point. Saw the mouthpiece dislodged again. Finally, Jerry Cantu docked Johnson a point. And then Kerobyan at the start of the 6th round walked into a right hand. Put him on Queer Street. Kind of a delayed effect right there. Maybe a different referee would have called that a knockdown.
A unanimous decision, and still undefeated, Ferdinand Kerobyan.
Great learning experience for Ferdinand Kerobyan.